Hi, the other day I was talking to a client and we were discussing her startup, and during the conversation I noticed how she was sensitive about a number of topics, and some of those were just elements of starting a business, but I could notice the sensitivity, in a way almost anxiety, in her voice because basically she realized how many things she had to work on and how many things she didn't know about those things. So I that's when I realized, you know what, I want to make a video about risk assessment, because in the end what I concluded was there's so many things that she has to work on, and everything is part of a plan, and creating a plan is simple, but what to do when some of those things don't happen as you expect, that was a source of anxiety. And that's something that you can identify through the risk assessment or risk analysis. And risk analysis is applicable to anything. It's applicable to a small project, a large project, to new product introduction. It could be applicable to starting a business, growing a bit, to anything, whatever you name it. So what is a risk assessment? Simply put, it's a document, in a way it's a table where you identify each one of those potential risks that can make that your project doesn't go as you expected. Okay? And I'm going to simplify this significantly. You list all those risks, then you identify exactly what the risk is. Okay? You define it. Okay, this is my risk, this is what the description of the risk is. Then you talk about what the impact is, and okay, if that happens, what is really going to happen, and you quantified it in dollar value, basically how much money this is going to cost me, or numerically what is going to be the impact to my production or to my sales activity, all those measurable things, but also the things that you can't measure, the subjective items, the intangibles. You describe all that in the risk. And then you talk about two important pieces. One is the mitigation, because a risk is just that, it's a risk. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen, but you can do things to mitigate the risk, meaning, okay, that can happen, but so that doesn't happen, I can do A, B, and C. But then of course, that's mitigation, but what if it happens? Then you have your contingency. Then you define, okay, it happened, but here's what I'm going to do when that happens. Okay? And of course, there's a few other things. You talk about what is the probability, whether it's high, medium, low. You talk about what is the impact, high, medium, low, and then the status. Because you not only identify the risk and all those elements I described, but you do something about it, right? Until you mitigate it, and you basically say, I'm comfortable with this risk. It is there, but I know what to do. Not a problem for me anymore. And then boom, that's green. I already worked that out. And that's a risk analysis. So in this comment section of this video, you're going to see a link to a very simple risk analysis tool. It's a simple table, it's in Excel, you can edit it, do whatever you want, it doesn't have passwords or anything. And if you Google, you look online for risk assessment, you'll find even more sophisticated tools. There's a risk matrix, there's a risk cube, with however many dimensions you want. But if you're not familiar with risk analysis or risk assessments, start small. Start with that list for your project, and you will realize that the number one thing that every entrepreneur, business person, or just anybody who undertakes a project faces, which is fear or anxiety towards something that you don't know, that piece is going to go away, because now you know what you can face, you know what that would mean to you, how you can mitigate it, and then what you will do if it happens. That will take that fear away. You can apply it to anything. Okay? I hope this is helpful. Again, look for that link and you will see more information. And if you have any comments, please leave those in the section of comments at the bottom of this video. Thank you.